that's fine. I'm totally 100% okay with failure
Yeah.
because there must be a reason it's there. Maybe I just
Yeah.
didn't, put in 100. When I fail, I ask myself one question. Did I
Mhm.
really put in 100%? Like
Mm.
completely dedicated myself to this? Usually the answer is not really.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
if it is yes, then it's not a failure.
Yeah. And I believe that failure is not falling down, it's staying down.
Mm,
So when we have those events, those circumstances, those, situations that we could label as a failure, it's only a failure if you make agreement with that.
yeah.
It's only right if you let it stop you.
Yeah. Don't
If you
accept it.
Yeah, if you wear it. Okay, so that didn't work out. What did I learn? How did I grow? What was the goal there for me?
Yeah.
And then sift through and take those pieces
Yeah.
and then leave the rest in the past.
Also, in a failure, it's usually not just you, right? There's
Yeah.
environmental stuff, there's other
Yeah.
people sometimes involved.
Yeah.
And guess what you just did? You just took all of that and put it on yourself because that's what we like to do, don't we? It's all my fault.
Right.
Let me just put this entire blanket on myself and then cry.
Yeah. Yeah, we own stuff that's not ours to own.
It's not ours. It's not
Yeah.
ours. The environmental stuff, the other people, the
Yeah.
anything that happens in a failure, it's usually not just you that's
Yeah.
involved in that failure. It couldn't be.
Yeah. So there would be, here's an interesting question for you when you're, as people are listening to this or watching it on YouTube, to
Yeah.
check in with yourself and ask, where am I owning stuff that's not mine to own? And how does that serve me? How
Yes.
does that serve me?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is not
Yeah.
mine. Always look at what you're worried about, stressed about, having some kind of negative thoughts about,
Mhm.
disempowering thoughts. Just for 1 second, take a step back and think, is this all me? Is it all
Yeah.
mine?
Yeah. And
Because if
often
it
it's
isn't,
not. Yeah.
yes.
Often it's not. Yeah.
And that's if it's somebody else's, that's also okay. I have
Mhm.
compassion for people who have stuff going on and they haven't dealt with because I
Mhm.
was there.
Mhm.
So I
We've all
have
been there.
compassion. Yes,
Yeah.
absolute 100%. There's no blame. There's absolute compassion, but it's not serving me.
Mhm.
So I have compassion for myself as well in that sense.
Mm.
So I will let go with love and say, okay,
Yeah.
this is,
Yeah.
I understand they're not in a place where, I am, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I will never take, a failure that is maybe 10% me and, maybe 60% someone else and like the rest environmental and just say, oh, this is me. Oh my God, I failed.
Mhm.
What am I going to do now? This is
Mhm.
a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important to develop that skill where you can actually look at it and take the parts that are yours to
Yes.
learn from and to take ownership of, right?
Yes.
Because the flip side of it is that we could say, "Oh, it has nothing to do with me," right? And then
Yes.
we
Okay.
potentially
Yes.
miss the learning that's there for us
Exactly.
and the growth that could be available. And so, Nimisha, what were the challenges for you along this journey of waking up and really realizing, oh, I'm in charge of my life here. I get to create my life. I don't need to just like bury myself anymore.
Yeah. The biggest challenge was that I was in charge.
Oh.
I am a huge believer in the fact that you create your own life.
Mhm.
Everything that we've created is due to what the choices we make and everything. We
Yeah.
don't realize it most of the time,
Yeah.
but it's unfortunate. But here's the thing: now that I was in charge, I was also in charge of every single decision. I was also in
Yeah.
charge of going back and looking at the patterns and being like, how do I change this paradigm?
Mm.
Otherwise, ignorance is
Mhm.
not bliss. It's
Mhm.
not at all bliss, getting to where you are, what the challenge was, what happened, why did it happen like that, and how can you change your paradigm? That's
Mm.
bliss.
Mhm.
Because after that, everything that you decide, I'm not saying think about every single decision in your head over and over again.
Yeah, that's not helpful.
No, sometimes things
Yeah.
are intuitive and that
Yeah.
your higher self is talking to you and you just take the decision. What I'm saying is that own it. For example, if I'm working on myself and, I've had a bad day or something and you said something and I reacted to you instead of responding to you, I know I'm meant to respond to you. That's what my ideal self wants to do. But I reacted.
Yeah.
It took a step back, right? 2 steps forwards, 1 step back.
Yeah.
But for me to take ownership of that and say, okay, this is what happened and I did this, and to come to you and say, Katherine, this is what happened. I did not want to react, but I did.
Yeah.
I should have responded. I wanted to respond. That's me taking ownership of that. Now, in the past, sometimes you're just like, it wasn't my fault. I didn't do it. I did that because I didn't do it. It was all them. So to come out of that, I took ownership of my half of anything.
So really moving out of that victimhood mentality.
Exactly. To never say that it wasn't my fault, is not obviously right as well. Sometimes it isn't your fault. But even in that scenario, we can't just be like, oh, it's their fault. So, blaming. Again, my higher self doesn't want to blame. My higher self wants to have compassion.
And it's about that responding. And so in those situations, being able to choose how you want to show up to them.
Yes.
What is the highest version? What is the ideal self? What is my ideal self? How do they show up in this situation? And then when we're off, sometimes we're on course, sometimes we're off course. And so those moments, those times where we're off course, we can notice, oh, crap, I'm totally off course there.
What happened here?
Oh, wow. That was
listen to another Bob Proctor episode.
Right? Yeah. Recenter, connect with, okay, this is the ideal self. This is how she shows up. And then do I have any kind of bits to take care of in regards to that? Do I need to, is there forgiveness for myself? Do I need to make an apology? Do I need to ask for a do-over?
Yes. And those are the challenges, I feel. To be able to try to maneuver around all of that. I always say, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So once you are aware and conscious,
go back to sleep. Not in the same way.
So none of it passes you by. You acknowledge it all. And so that is the challenge. But it's okay. I chose it.
Yeah. Right. And so if you could, from your heart, send a message to yourself in the past or to people listening who are on this journey at whatever point in the journey they're on, what would you want them to know, or what would you want yourself to know?
There's only one thing that I want every single human, man, woman, child to know, that there is nothing, there is no one like them in this world. There's only one them. There is only one them. There is not a single person that's like them in this world. And so that in itself is really powerful. You have been created for a reason, uniquely created. So if you're not going to honor that, then I think that it truly is, for me, it truly is a step back if I'm not going to honor that. So every single moment of my life, I want to spend knowing that I'm unique. I'm me. There's nobody in this world that's like me. And to go through life knowing that this is who I am. This special being that's been created and sent on earth to experience this, whatever it is that I'd like to experience. And so if I can have that person believe that, any person believe that, then that validation that they seek from other people, it doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist. They just don't see you like that. That's okay. You see yourself like that. So that's what I think, the validation that we seek from the outside world is what stops us in our tracks. And I wish and hope that, my past self, my future self, and my present self continues to believe that, well, there's
love
only
that.
one you. So,
Yeah. And
what are you worrying about?
Yeah, you were created on purpose. You're meant to be here. You have
There is
gifts
a
to
reason
share.
you're here. So shine your light.
Yeah.